Hello everyone and welcome back to Mental Health Unfiltered by Ikshanaa. This is part 2 and we are still in conversation with Ms. Tanya Gadani. We're going to talk some more about friendships, society, expectations and women's safety. So yeah, we were talking about female friendships and then we suddenly switched to this.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah, you were telling me about female friendships. Like, how important are female friendships to you?
So I'd like to say first of all that I don't really see the gender in the friends I have, but specifically my female friends, I would say I have only a couple of closest female friends who I can really trust, and they're like family. So since school, some people, they fall out of friendships after, with the childhood friends, but in my case it's just gotten stronger over the years, and they have always been there for me through my thick and thin, no matter what. Like, they are the only people actually who know, like, A to Z everything in my life. So what I can talk to them about literally anything. There is like an unfiltered, an unfiltered friendship. So that's, I think that's how,
It should be.
that's how it should be, and that's how, you actually choose, and after that you should get like something positive, a positive feedback or a positive energy that you should feel after talking to them. So then that's when you know that, these friends you would like them to stick around.
Right. So basically you're looking for like a female friendship is something that is pushing you ahead,
Yes, definitely.
is helping you grow rather than just pulling you down.
Yes.
Let's go back to this societal expectations. So how has the societal expectations impacted your life?
Okay, so I would say that it has impacted indirectly. Not directly, because not like I'm meeting. Society is basically your relatives, and you don't meet them every day. Your parents meet them more than you. And I come from a Gujarati family. So if you have noticed, Gujaratis get married like at the age of 24, 25, the females I'm talking about. So even I come from a family where my father's side, I am the eldest daughter, and after a huge gap. So after, like, say 25 to 30 years, I'm the first daughter in my father's generation, and now I am 26. And for so many years there have not been any functions, and relatives, to be very honest, they like functions. So they are literally waiting for my marriage. And how? Like, they will slip in any, you can say, a guy that, they've recently
Rishta.
met, like a rishta. तो ऐसे रिश्ते मतलब they keep slipping in in my parents' heads. And till I was pursuing my masters, it was like, no pressure. Even that time I was getting rishtas, but I was pursuing my masters, so my parents wanted me to focus on my career. Then after that I had to find a job and everything, so my
basically
parents gave me time.
there was a reason.
Yes. So, and now it is like, now you're settled, now you're doing good, you're permanent and everything, and I don't have to study anymore. So now it keeps increasing every day. It keeps increasing as discussions, it keeps increasing as taunts from your parents, because the society has been putting pressure on them, and they have been putting pressure on me. So in that case it keeps increasing. But I think this is just a mentality of all Indians in general. So it's, I think many of the women can relate right now, those of my age, those who are less than my age. So this is like,
Or more than your age.
or more than my age. So this is something that I think I don't know, many people must be having, like who has a a complete family who's staying with them, like chacha chachi, everyone. तो उनकी तरफ से maybe it could be direct pressure for them, but for in my case it's like indirect pressure, but that keeps happening every day, and every day like you're only growing older. Every day the pressure is only getting stronger. So but I think in our generation I think we take our own time, but our parents don't quite understand that sometimes, and the society of course is not going to understand, but yeah.
How do you deal with it then?
So actually I mostly escape it. I escape it. This is how I mostly deal with my situations. It's not a good thing, I'd say, but yes, when such kind of topics start, maybe I'll make plans with my friends. Maybe other times I have office,
Escaping the situation.
yeah, so go to office.
But doesn't that create like a distance?
It does create a distance, but for some time it gets you off that topic.
So a piece,
You get
some
like
peace of mind.
yeah, you get
Breather.
like some relief for a few days, but then it starts again. So it's a cycle on loop. But then sometimes there are like actual serious discussions where there is no escape, and sometimes there's also this society pressure getting into your head as well, because you're listening to it every day. That naturally happens, it gets into your head, and then you also start thinking about all of these things. So but one day at a time as it comes. But you also need to know when you have to put a stop, because you can't just stay unmarried all your life, obviously. But yes, there should people must be having their own ways of talking to their parents, talking to the society, of how to get their own breather, and how when they are going to be getting married, and putting it forward. So I think everyone should have a clear picture at the back of their head that okay, I am escaping this right now, but later it is eventually going to haunt you. So you need to be ready with that part as well.
So I think it is about you preparing yourself.
Yeah.
Before you thinking of what to answer your parents, or how to make them feel better. It's more
Correct.
about first understanding what you want in that situation, to making yourself feel better.
Yeah.
To first deciding as to whether or not you want to get married, whether, or if you do, then when do you want to get married, like when do you
Exactly.
want to have children, when do you want to settle down.
Right. You should have that at the back of your mind, and you should know how you want to communicate it to your parents, importantly, and to the society, if the society is that close to you.
Correct.
Right.
Exactly. Okay. So yeah, have you ever faced any so basically, now that working in this society, it is difficult to, so you have to like travel places, you have to be so many places. You've been in London, you've studied here, you are traveling to work alone. Have you ever faced any safety hassle?
I'd say that was a situation in London. People say outside India is very safe and all. I don't agree, because I think everywhere safety issue remains the same, and everywhere is a risk, whether it's a risk of whether it's a risk of coming across someone who makes you feel unsafe, or whether it's a risk of the traffic, you meeting with any accident, or any sort of risk for that matter. So the accident part I faced in India because of the traffic, but in London, yes, I have faced safety issues, because I have come across such experiences where I have this incident. I'll tell you, it has just happened where I was living. Okay, I was living in Wimbledon back then, and it has happened just under my building. So a man was taking a walk, and this other guy comes up to him and he asks for some, place where he wants to go. He shows him the map, that do you know where this place is? And that man just says, no, I have no idea. And he stabs him in the back, quite literally stabs him in the back. So that's like out of nowhere. Like, this guy was just taking a walk under his building and this has happened. So there are many cases, like, especially after it gets dark, it was not safe. I would not go out when I was
Back in London.
yeah.
It's also that, there's a safety net back at home. You know
Yes.
that, you can just call up somebody and the person will be there to help
yes. And you also know which areas are safe, which areas are not safe. Outside, you don't have an idea. Just
you. You need to
immediately.
figure out.
Yeah, you need to figure out, and there are quite crazy people everywhere, and not I would not say crazy, but people on drugs, I would say. So you got to be careful wherever you are. I mean, this is not something I've come across over here, because here, even when I go to office or go to meet my friends, it's mostly I take my car. So that way it's quite safe. I don't use the public transport. But outside, yes, out of India, I used to use the bus, the tube. So there's like unsafe people everywhere, I'd say.
Have you ever felt that anxiety or that fear, as a woman traveling anywhere, say even in India or say outside India? Have you felt that fear or that dependency? Because I'll give you a personal experience. So I have felt this anxiety, especially traveling anywhere post 10-11 o'clock. So it's like I noticed that I am required to make plans prior. So like I have to decide that if I'm going to this particular place, how long is it going to take me to come back?
Yeah.
And how am I going to travel back?
Yeah, that's I think, I'll give an example again. Like, this has happened to this situation actually, which had happened with me here in India, and that's the only time I felt like very unsafe. So I had gone to Ahmedabad, and I was supposed to be back in Pune, but my flight was supposed to land at 11. So it landed at 11, and after that I was supposed to book a cab, and go home from there. I stay in Pune. So I had to go back home, and that's like I think a 45 minutes drive from airport to my house. And I had booked a cab. It was Uber, and after, like, when I left, I knew the way, but that guy took me from very very secluded areas, and it was quite unsafe. That time I felt very unsafe. I panicked. I was on a call with a friend, and I told my friend to stay on the call the entire time, and I spoke in a different language just to be sure, like, so that he doesn't understand what I'm talking about. And it was very scary that time, because there was not a single light on the road, and he was taking me from such secluded areas and where there was construction work going on, when he could directly take the main road. So I think that's the only time I felt unsafe in India. But yeah, outside, yeah, quite a few times. And outside I used to have the same thing, like, I need to be back home. And where I was staying in London, it would be dark by 4 o'clock in the evening. So sometimes you'd have to make plans accordingly. And even over here, like, here I have more friends, so there's someone or the other, yes, who drops
Exactly.
me when I'm drinking. I would say, like, I don't take my car, because that's not
Not safe.
risky. It's
Yeah.
not safe. So I would go out with my friends. Some friend was always, I would
Sober
make
enough to
sure
drop.
that, yeah, someone would have to drop me.
This is the kind of dependency I'm talking
Yeah.
about. Ki aajkal, like, females have to, like, more than males, I am sure even males have to plan, like, when they're coming home and
Yeah.
everything. But it's not as scary as this,
Yeah.
because as a female, you have to think कि कितना time होने वाला है, और कितने लोग होंगे सड़क पे, कौन सा area जा रहा
Yeah,
है,
which
is
area?
it safe,
Yeah.
how many people are with you. So all these factors are some factors that women consider.
Yeah.
वो naturally आ जाता है, वो instinct में बस गया है अभी. It's that unsafe.
Correct. That
Okay.
and that those are exactly the questions even I that arise in my head before going anywhere. So yes, I can relate to that a lot. That is quite true.
Okay, what is your opinion on financial independence as a female in today's society?
I would say all the females should be quite financially independent at this point, because
What is financial independence to you? Like, how do you look at it?
financial independence, obviously, that I am a person who doesn't like being dependent on anyone. Okay, well, you say financially or you say in any other way. Financially, since we're talking about it. So, of course, I would want me to be self-sufficient, to be that independent, make my own decisions, make my own plannings. I'm talking about financially, make my own investments, make my own plannings. And I don't want any interference in that. I don't want anyone to, any
Mansplaining and
man explaining me how I should handle them. And I want to have that own freedom of choosing to spend anywhere, or choosing to save this maybe for a save some amount maybe for a car, or maybe if I'm planning to get a house later on. Or so that is like, I think, just as a man thinks and decides and acts on his financial how much ever is earning aspects. So exactly the same way, even I would like want the same freedom.
So, right now, do you have that independence? Do you have that financial awareness, of investing or anything related to finances?
I wouldn't say I'm an expert, but yes, I am learning from my parents how important it is to save, to invest. There is, any emergencies at any time, and you need to have some backup. You need to have some money with you. You can't be dependent on the guy, let it be your husband, let it be your partner or whatever, but you need to be that independent. Let anything come your way, you have that money. You're not in a cash crunch, you don't have to be dependent. I'd say that again. But so this is very important. So for that, you need to be having good investments. You need to be
So,
having good
right now, are you having any investments? What do you prefer, stock market or crypto?
Yeah, so currently I'm doing SIPs and also shares. So it's always, you can say, people start with this when they just start earning. So I'd say that is something I'm doing.
safe
And
bet.
also to keep some amount just to put it in your FD. So that kind of thing. But yes, later on it should increase with having properties and many other aspects.
Many other investments,
Many other
basically.
investments. I'm not an expert, but I think it should go
The basic
to you
knowledge.
having at least 2 or 3 properties. That is like that can help you in emergencies, I'd say.
So, basically, the basic knowledge of investment is necessary.
Yeah.
And the data today says that, women really lack that knowledge of financial investments or any decisions for that matter.
Yeah.
There was this experiment done in a corporate setup. There's a video of this. So, in that, what happens is initially everybody's in the same line. Okay, like men, women, everybody in the same line, and they are asked questions. So initially the questions are related to personal life, like their personal choices and their career choices.
Okay.
So that's where the male and female, so for each question, if the answer is yes, they have to go one step ahead,
Okay.
and if the answer is no, they have to take one step back.
Yeah.
So when they were asked about their personal lives, or anything related to family, they used to take one step ahead, and for that time the female and the male were almost in the same lines, like thoda bahut aage piche the. But as soon as the questions related to financial decisions started, be it savings, be it investments, be it even simple bank stuff, there were so many women lacking behind. In fact, there was no lady
Yeah.
where the men were standing.
Yeah.
So like I think it's been the system that all financial decisions or actions, like going to the bank also, are mostly done by men in the society till date.
I think that is quite true at some level, but hats off to the parents who are teaching their kids how to have this financial investments. And my mom has this one saying by my mom कि कभी एक कुएं में सब नहीं रखना चाहिए, ऐसे 4-5 कुएं तो रहने चाहिए कि एक खाली हो तो दूसरे में मतलब यू कैन मतलब कभी भी कुछ भी हो सकता है, यू नेवर नो. सो आई वुड से if someone is only doing shares, don't do only shares, don't only buy gold, like do little bit of like maybe 10% of your salary in everything.
Correct.
So that is
Multiple
somewhere you can,
investments.
yeah, that is somewhere you can start with and
Then go on to
go
investing
on.
properties.
Yes,
and
yes, the bigger goals.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much, Tanya. It was lovely having you on Mental Health Unfiltered by Ikshanaa.
Yeah.
And we look forward to having you again soon.
Definitely, I had a great time, and I'd love to be here, talk about different topics, later.
Thank you guys for watching Mental Health Unfiltered by Ikshanaa, and stay tuned for more. There is more interesting content coming up.